Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome live. We are tasting live. We have Malbec in our glass now. And if you're just joining us, we're going through a wine that is unique. We're taking a trip to Chile by the glass, a little over 5,000 miles south, and we're doing it by way of wines Gran Reserva Serie Riberas. And the winemakers are with us, the wine ambassadors are with us. We have Marcio Ramírez and Italo Joffre, both of Concha y Toro, who have come a very long way. And they're going to be sharing this wine with us now, as a matter of fact. And right before we get into the wine, I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about everybody. You know, Malbec is widely known in the United States, but most people know about Argentine Malbec. So what is unique about Chilean Malbec? And in fact, we have Amateur Winos asking the exact question. Most people know Argentinian Malbec. And so what are those unique differences?
Well, it's I have two big differences, but it's, in Mendoza, it's a very more warm climate. In Chile, it's more cold. It's special for Gran Reserva, for this effect of the wind, cold wind of the ocean, and the clone. A different clone in Mendoza is a clone. They say Mendocino clone.
So when we say clone, though, it's the same thing, but it's a little bit different.
A little mutation, this adaptation for this region.
So does that make maybe the skin a little bit thicker, or the?
But it's in a Sauvignon Blanc is a clone number 1, or the 95.
Okay.
It's different, but for Malbec is a specific for Argentina clone. It's adapting for 100 years. Yeah. In Chile, use a French clone. This is different.
So it is the same grape, but at the end of the day, there are unique differences. You're getting fans here in the U.S. already. Dan God once says, "Great start, Marcio. You're doing a wonderful job. We can all keep our jobs and continue drinking wine." Sonadora is asking us. She'll say she'll take the wine. She understands your Spanish as well. So if you have to break into Spanish at any time, at least some of us will be understanding what's going on. Perfect. We all speak the language of wine. I think that's the important thing. And then Wine Harlot says that they love your accent. So forget about the wine. We'll be passing out Marcio's phone number later at the end of the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. But I think let's talk a little bit about the vineyard here. I think the Malbec is from a different region, correct?
Yeah, it's the same region. It's a Rapel Valley, but it's more south of the Ocuque.
Okay.
The Ocuque is more close to the river, the sea. It's a 9 mile close to the sea.
Okay.
And Ocuque is for 37 miles close to the river. It's a different. The red variety need more warm climate.
Okay.
The white red need more cool weather.
Makes sense.
Yeah?
And this, you said, I think earlier you mentioned, what is the vineyard in this?
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo in this vineyard here. So in Palo Santo vineyard, is there a certain vine age there? Do we know how old those vines are? Or you said that they're all within that 10-year mark?
Yeah, this vineyard is 12, 30 years ago.
Wonderful. What do you notice in this glass? I know we actually have a few people. S.L. Hausman saying that with the wine number 2, Malbec, she's noting dried plums, little sort of dark fruit, maybe a little bit of that almost like leather, and I think we see blueberry in there as well.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
It's specific for the soil. The soil is a red clay that's similar to the cancha de tenis. Like a
tennis court?
The same color, but inside is a granitic and quartz, but it's a very restrictive soil.
So does it mean there's granite in there, but there's also a mixture, it's sort of like layered in a context?
Yeah. And the red clay is put power in a grapes. It is a color and the power in a flavors.
So if you want to grow a wine that has power and you want something that coats the glass like we have here, you put a little red clay in the ground.
And this wine is a very special, but they ferment in a barrel, not in a tank.
So it's
a ferment in a barrel, horizontal barrel.
We have a comment, actually. Spirit and Wine was actually retweeting us earlier saying how Concha y Toro dates back to 1883. But this is yet one of the newest ventures for the country. I think, Italo, you had mentioned that earlier. It's good for those that are just joining us and letting us know this is a new project and a special one at that.
Yeah, it's a new project for Concha y Toro. It's a new project for Marcio, he's the leader of this project. He's really proud of this wine.
So have you been with the project for the last 10 years or the last 5 years?
No, this project is born with me. It's 10 years when you moved Peumo in 2001. looking the different areas for planting the new vineyards.
Okay.
And all the vineyards planting for the new project. It is I see growing the plant. Yeah, it's a very special project.
He's the father of the project.
So you're the father of the project.
I
number
planted
one.
10 years.
So some people 9 months, some women 9 months. You had 10 years with it.
Yeah.
And I think it tastes like you're giving birth to something beautiful. What's unique, though, I think that you pointed out was that there's a lot of wine companies that probably go into it where they have a land. They're like, oh, we have this vineyard. Let's make some wine from it. This is more. We have an idea of what we want to do. Let's go find the proper land. Let's plant it. Let's be patient. Let's wait.
Yeah.
And I think the proof is in the glass here.
Yeah, and a lot of work of the winemakers is not only in the cellar, it's searching for the right place. Chile has that great or uniqueness. It's like California was 20, 30 years ago. We're still discovering new wine regions, new places, and a lot of the work of the winemaker is going into these regions.
Okay. So did you do a lot of scouting out into the vines? And you have to wear some dirty boots occasionally. It's not all beautiful and tasting with people online.
Tasting the grape, a specific date for picking.
I think we have a lot of people
very
that
interesting for the making the wine. It's a different all the years.
See, I think a lot of people think that winemaking is magic. But the reality is there's a lot of, it sounds mythical, it sounds
there's a lot of behind
beautiful.
the scenes.
There's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of farming, there's a lot of, agronomy and soil studies.
For the great wine or the best wine, it's necessary to grade the best grape.
Let's talk a little bit about, just as we're finishing up on the taste of this wine, we have a wine review was noting how they noticed that it's a little white pepper, kind of a chalky cocoa powder nose that they have in this.
A little cocoa, vanilla, but
now, does that have something
to do?
Very
dark fruit.
Now, does that have something to do with the barrel treatment? What sort of barrel treatment do you do with these wines? Is it French, American?
Only for this wine. It's only French barrel, but it's a 40% a new barrel, fermented in a new barrel.
Okay.
But I put the wine inside the same barrel for 12 months.
Okay, so it's a mixture.
But use for use the barrel.
Yeah. We have someone here
only new.
That says, and it might have, I don't know if it's the vineyard, if it's the grapes, that barrel treatment, but basically Travel Eat Love MM was telling us how they love the color. The Malbec is gorgeous. It's interesting to learn the differences between this and the Malbec from Mendoza. They're saying thank you to Marcio. And Taylor Eason noted that the 2011 Malbec smells like buttered popcorn mixed with plums and rose. I'm getting hungry here. There's got a sweet note, a sweet flavor. So say goodbye to Argentina, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to start buying some Chilean Malbec. I know it'll be stocking my shelves as we go forward, but I think we've covered a little bit about where the wines come from, a little bit about the production. Is there any particular, when do you harvest? What's the month that you harvest this Malbec?
The harvest start in middle April.
Okay.
But end April or start the May.
Okay.
But it's 10 different court or different block.
Okay.
Ferment different.
Oh, so you separate the block. There's 10 blocks in this vineyard.
But
so
it's possible to ferment in a barrel. In a barrel, it's 200 kilos per barrel.
Okay.
And 4 barrel is with grape. Is a 1 barrel wine. It's a lot of work for this wine.
There's probably a lot of tasting
separate the different.
To find out.
What's very unique about this one that is fermented, as Marcio said, inside the barrel.
As opposed to in a tank and then aging.
Exactly. This is fermented.
So
the whole process is fermented
in the barrel.
Yeah.
Which makes a bit of a difference. And I think some people, as they were talking about the color, that might actually be one of the things that we're talking about here that gives that color, that depth, that richness. Drink what you like is actually saying, being a winemaker, Marcio, it's really cool. He said, but what did you say Italo is a wine ambassador? It sounds like a great gig. It sounds like we have people that are going to take your job, or at least they're going to start applying.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great, especially when you work for a good company.
And Concha y Toro is a wonderful company. I imagine the key thing about wine, though, when you think about it, is wine it's not just a drink. It's something to be shared with people. It's about talking. It's about sharing. It's about taking a trip by the glass.
In Chile, it's considered part of the meal. It's just like food.
You wouldn't do it without salt or pepper, so you need wine there as well.
Exactly.
Taylor Eason was mentioning how she'd like to see this wine maybe after another year, maybe with a little bit of age or possibly with some food, and how that really will change the way the wine feels on your palate. And we have another comment here. Winebrad SF was saying that it felt sort of like a silky, chocolatey sort of flavor, but also probably the mouthfeel. I think we're talking about.
Dark chocolate. It's a very, it's very different with another Malbec. It's in a mouth. It's more structured, but without lost the sweet.
So that's actually a good point, because I know as we go out, being that we're in the reds now, we're going to go Malbec, we're going to taste a Carmenere, then we're going to taste a Cabernet. It'd be interesting as we go through if you could tell us a little bit more about the differences you feel in the tannins with some of these wines, because I've heard sweet tannins, velvety tannins, dusty tannins, ripe tannins, grippy tannins, green tannins. So it'd be good to get your take on that. Laura Sand is actually saying, how do you control fermentation in the barrel?
Only the grape is cool maceration for 5 and 10 days.
Okay.
It's 7 grados Celsius.
7 Celsius degrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 7 Celsius.
So it's fairly cool, and it's
and this the fermentation start low, but it's not necessary to control the temperature. But it's a very slow fermentation.
Do you find that slower fermentations give a different aromatic profile or a different aroma in the wine?
Yeah, but if you use yeast or indigenous yeast, or wild yeast, or selection yeast, but it's a very different on the start the harvest. On the last harvest is a different fruit. The start is a very fresh fruits. The last harvest is more yummy.
Okay.
You do the blend, the difference, and the different barrels. But it's a like a chef. It's a plato, a meal. It's a little put the salt, a pepper. This is el trabajo más glamoroso del enólogo.
That's the most glamorous part of the job of a winemaker. You know, blending it. It's like a chef cooking. Yeah.
This is what everybody actually thinks. This is the mystique that we all hear. You know, when we dream and we're sitting here typing in PowerPoint or something, we're like, I would love to be in the vineyards blending wine.
No, the difficulty is the weather.
We have a comment from Wine Harlots, Concha y Toro, Gran Reserva. She was talking about there's a lot of blackberry sort of plummy goodness with like dense violet almost, supple tannins. Here we are with another different type of tannin here, but I like that. You really feel that jumping out of you in the glass, and it's delicious. Winebrat SF notices wild yeast. You make my heart sing. I know you guys do some wild yeast. You do some selected yeast.
Yeah.
Depending.
For this wine is a 30% is a wild yeast.
Okay.
And another is a selection yeast.
Do you find that unique? I mean, some people they either go wild or they go controlled, right? But if that interesting mixture, you get a little bit of the personality from the wild and some of what nature gives us, and then the other area just ensures that we can actually get it to you in the bottle.
Exactly.
But the difference is that the wild yeast is a 10 or 20 day fermentation. In a selection yeast is a 5-7 years. But it's very different. But it's all the time put more wild yeast in a Ribera.
Well, wonderful. Thank you for sharing the Malbec with us. I think we have to wrap up here. And we want to thank all the bloggers actually for being with us for this wine. And thank you for traveling south to Chile with us by the glass, a little over 5,000 miles to Chile. With these wonderful gentlemen we have here, Italo Joffrey from Concha y Toro, wine ambassador, Marcio Ramírez, winemaker. And we would like to thank you for being here with us. Salud, gentlemen.
Salud.
Salud.
Que lo disfruten.